call Ruth Maguire to be followed by Edward Mountain. Up to 4 minutes. Ms Maguire.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. Waiting for an operation or treatment undoubtedly adds pressure and stress to what's an already stressful time, for some intolerably so. I appreciate that waiting can exacerbate the problem and that the patient is waiting for treatment. It brings additional issues, stress and anxiety. I will never minimise that human impact. Challenges facing Scotland's NHS are not unique, and the significant impact of COVID-19 since 2019 on the normal operation of the NHS cannot be underestimated. In saying that, I'm not pretending that everything was perfect prior to the pandemic. I'm simply acknowledging the reality of where we are now and the scale of challenge that we face. Opposition parties should, of course, put whatever they want in their motions, but it won't be lost on folk that Labour have brought forward a motion about NHS pressures and not included a single mention about the impact of COVID and the pandemic. All MSPs receive regular contact from their local health boards. We should all know the impact it has had. And there's no doubt that the pandemic has been the biggest shock that the NHS and health services in Europe and globally have faced. That's not unique to Scotland and cannot be ignored. The pandemic has clearly impacted on health services right across the UK. Acknowledging the reality of where we are is important. I'll give way now.
Sarah Boyack.
Thank you very much. The member rightly mentioned COVID, but as she may know, we met with people who have suffered from long COVID and there is no support coming from her SNP government. So what does she suggest to them?
Ruth Maguire.
I would acknowledge the difficulty faced by those with long COVID. The Cabinet Secretary outlined a number of steps that the Scottish Government is taking. Ministers have published a National Health and Social Care Workforce Strategy, which sets out a long-term vision for achieving sustainable health and social care workforce. The fact that the Scottish Government values the NHS workforce and is committed to investing in the NHS workforce is demonstrable. There's a number of steps that we've taken. We're so short of time, I'll not go through them all. I would say, however, that of course Scotland remains the only country in the UK to have been successful in averting NHS strikes. I point that out not by way of self-congratulation, but because actions around staffing are what will make the difference to the running of our NHS and how our citizens experience their care within it. Recruitment and retention of staff, their well-being, that is what's important to the sustainability of NHS Scotland's ability to provide efficient services amidst the current challenges it faces. I do think that we need to look closely at routes to a rewarding career of public service within the NHS and reflect where previous decisions may have had unintended consequences. For example, where surgeons now specialise at the beginning of their careers, there is a lack of general surgical consultants, causing some challenge within my own health board. For allied health professionals and nursing, can we look at more apprenticeships, earn as you learn and work-type programmes that could also provide progression and development opportunities for existing health and social care staff, as well as being attractive to other adults who would wish for a career change but for whom 4 years at university is not an option. I would welcome the Minister's comments on these. I know that there is some work ongoing, but it feels like something that we need to pick up the pace on, and indeed something that could be really beneficial for individual citizens and the healthcare system as a whole. Presiding Officer.